Hi, welcome to the Second Rainbow Coalition Reading Group. We are reading Johnny Torres' book, Voices of the Revolution, and we're going to begin today with the Second Rainbow Coalition Statement of Unity. Go ahead, Comrade Gabby, you have the mic.
Thank you, Sister Zen. I'll be reading the Statement of Unity preface. The U.S. was founded as a colonial settler state based upon white supremacy and slavery, stealing the lands of the indigenous nations, breaking every treaty made with them, and confining them to quote-unquote reservations, concentration camps. As the country became more powerful, the ego sunk its claws into other nations, making war on Mexico and grabbing its northern territories, invading Cuba, Puerto Rico, Hawaii, and the Philippines, and either annexing them outright or turning them into colonies or neo-colonies. And in the 20th century, it became the major imperialist power in the world, exploiting both the people within its boundaries and those in every other country, bullying them with military interventions, and robbing them of their right to self-determination. As Huey P. Newton stated, quote, "We have two enemies to fight, racism and capitalism. Between the two, capitalism is primary. Racism is a byproduct of capitalism." The working people of the world, of every ethnicity or nationality, face a common enemy that is destroying life on Earth. Our enemy is a small ruling class of property owners controlling most of the world's wealth and resources. We must have our basic needs met to live a good and meaningful life: food, shelter, healthcare, education, freedom from the oppression by the state, and peace with other nations. To obtain these essential things for life, we must have the power to see to it that the abundance that is available is shared equitably. Statement of Unity for the Second Rainbow Coalition. The legacy of the First Rainbow Coalition dates back to its founding on April 4th, 1969, by the original Black Panther Party, original Young Lords, and Young Patriots organization. A number of other organizations joined this coalition not too long afterwards, such as the American Indian Movement, Brown Berets, Rise Up Angry, the Red Guards, and others. Since the founding of the United States, the masses have developed a number of popular movements that came together to fight back against this capitalist imperialist system in various ways or on particular demands. Nevertheless, none has established a movement quite like the First Rainbow Coalition. This historic movement was the first of its kind that established a model of class struggle like no other. Its charismatic leader, Chairman Fred Hampton of the Illinois chapter of the original Black Panther Party, stated that at the end of the day, we weren't engaged in a quote-unquote race struggle. He said that's a class struggle, god damn it. By uniting with the various oppressed ethnicities and masses, they were able to bridge the gap between the various ethnic communities that white supremacy had long sought to keep divided. This class solidarity equipped them with the material basis and class consciousness to see their common class condition. Therefore, the necessity to form a united front against their common class oppressor, the capitalist imperialist ruling class. The ruling class viewed this as the greatest threat to their class rule, and subsequently used the entire oppressive forces of the state, police, courts, jails, prisons, intelligence agencies, etc., in order to crush this emerging revolutionary socialist movement. We refounded the Rainbow Coalition on May 14th, 2021, with the intent of upholding the legacy of the original Rainbow Coalition. We believe that this historic example is the model for class struggle that is the model for the United Front that will best serve our class liberation. By upholding the 10-point program of the original Black Panther Party, which was subsequently adopted and later expanded by the original Young Lords, Young Patriots organization, and all other original Rainbow Coalition members, we establish our pragmatic unity. The 6 disciplinary rules that we uphold ties all organizations in our coalition to a common professional discipline. History has bestowed upon our generation a common class mission to fulfill. The representatives of the capitalist imperialist ruling class, represented by the Democratic Party and the Republican Party, cannot liberate us. It is their class intention and class interest to uphold our common class oppression. Therefore, it is only we, the oppressed masses of all ethnicities and nationalities, who must build the necessary class solidarity, class consciousness, organizational structures, and a united front that will ultimately liberate ourselves. This is what the Second Rainbow Coalition is committed to. This is the historic mission we intend to fulfill. Dare to struggle, dare to win. all members of the coalition: New African Black Panther Party, White Panther Party, Green Party of New Jersey, Poor People's Army, La Mesa Nacional de Brown Berets, NASL, North Alabama School for Organizers, New Era Young Lords, and American Indian Movement Northeast Woodland Chapter. The 6 disciplinary rules. Number 1, members will conduct themselves in a manner to bring credit to the coalition and will treat others with respect and politeness. Number 2, members will be sober when on Rainbow Coalition business and will not engage in any criminal activity while a member. Number 3, no member will engage in violence except in the extremity of self-defense. Number 4, members will not gossip nor be divisive to the unity of the Second Rainbow Coalition. Number 5, members will not act as informers or work against the purpose of the Second Rainbow Coalition. And number 6, nobody is authorized to speak for the Second Rainbow Coalition unless authorized to do so. And that is a statement of unity.
Thank you, comrade.
Of course.
I'm gonna go ahead and screen share the book here.
Also, I see we have iPhone with us.
Welcome, iPhone.
Yes, sorry everybody, I'm on my phone.
Oh, hey, Rafa. Glad you were able to join us.
Hey, Rafa. How are you
Hey.
doing, man?
Hey, good. Is it just us 3?
I think Joe's still in here, or did we lose Joe's connection?
Nah, Joe is still here.
There's a total of 5 of us.
Okay,
Yeah.
cool. Let me get situated.
Right up.
It's nice to see you, Comrade Rafa.
Johnny, given that this is your book, I'm curious, would you like to open this up today and read the first poem?
Yes, of course, Sister Zen. Okay. A Brown Appreciation Collective. The little brown girl with the beautiful, long, dark hair, sitting Indian style, eating a tortilla en haste del maíz and frijoles. You're a beautiful brown woman. We are beautiful golden bronze. We are earth and colors of the soil. We are soul, the entrance to this world, the fruit that forever gives. We are sacred, stand strong, dedicated to our sons. The world will attempt to make your knees buckle simply because you're a brown man. The world will convict you simply because you're a brown man. The world will not love you simply because you're a brown man, but you know you're courageous, but you know you're intrinsic. And no one brown man will ever stand as strong as you, Finn. Gabriela Ann Rodriguez is born and raised Estonian and mother of 2. It was under her father and mentor that she was inspired to join and become a Southeast Brown Beret circa 2015. Her love for her brown brothers and sisters and seeking the injustice against them made her want to become a part of the movement with a desire to bring change. During this period, she has worked alongside the community, given birth to 2 beautiful brown boys, and has followed her passions and shown admiration towards the community in the inner city barrio de Houston. If it hasn't been for her father instilling pride in her boots, culture, and brown skin, and would have never followed the path of making a difference and standing for something, a gathering, and and she vividly remembers was the 49th anniversary of the Chicano moratorium in 2019, when Brown Berets, brothers and sisters, gathered from all over. She can still hear the people unite, will never be divided, walking among those with the same passions, and in a historical brown neighborhood was a beautiful sight to see, and one she will remember for the rest of her life. Que viva la causa, que viva los brown berets, que viva la mujer, que viva la raza, Gabrielle, Southeast Brown Berets. Oh, wasn't that nice, y'all?
Yeah. Beautiful.
Yeah, that was one of my Brown Beret sisters here. Yeah, she wrote a good piece about motherhood and being a Brown Beret, kind of her roots. Basically, she gave us, which was good and insightful. I told her about the book, and she was excited to be a part of it. And she's still a Brown Beret to this day, and she's been a Brown Beret, just as long as I have. And that's where I started, in that group where she's in, the Southeast House Brown Berets. And we've done a lot of work together, a lot of protesting here in Houston, a lot of organizing. Um, so I was happy to call her not just a comrade, but a sister as well. So thank you.
Thank you, Johnny.
All
You're very
powers to the people. That was beautiful.
I love that.
I loved it too. Never been a huge fan of poems, but it is really beautiful so far.
Okay, here's the second one. A chaos with roots. It feels like fall these days. It feels like the right time for spirits. Feels like traditions that turn for brokenness to mush while peeling sweet potatoes. Cursing, pilgrims, remembering the murk endured by ancestors, cutting okra for a soup like your mother's lover must have, breaking codes at the fish batter like I never knew I could hold a baby at my hip and stir a simmering pot, recall a red road when in sugar cranberries pop, like a complicated turkey stuffed with spiced bread, our antepasados pet, now lining my sleepy gut, fall like pots of collars, onions, tomato, and garlic. Like, have you tried Galalu? Conversation starters, bring the succulents inside because the cold is still after our culture. Ancient cornbread stuffing mix, 12 boxes, cardboard and recycles. Please, veggie broth, flour, and butter. The roux that rises as you take Christmas songs in your mouth, then spit it out. Never swallow. Make your form your mother to say, we never went nowhere. We just evolved because salt, the beans, corn, gravy, mash, and starchy potatoes, and pepper with pep talks like, I'll get back on my ramen regimen tomorrow. Today is pumpkin decor, where ghosts congregate and families who survived, like good food and stories, love and warm, reminiscent, happy to be connected, a chaos of roots and smallpox for dessert. Des Decolonize Lopez. Well, that was a very interesting poem about historical roots, and how it's kind of like putting it all together like a stew. Very interesting, and all the metaphors that come with it. I met
Very
her a couple of
beautiful.
times. Yeah, I met her a couple of times at protest. She'd be reading, and I told her about the anthology, and she was happy to do it. And this was the poem she chose, and that was the picture she chose, and it was good. It was very, makes you, it gives you hope inside. You know, there was kind of like a twist at the end, but I totally got it. How does everyone else feel about it?
I agree with you, Johnny. By the way, I want to go back to Gabriela's poem just a bit because I do know her, and but I agree with this last poem. I think, that's what I love about poetry. Sometimes they add twists and turns, and you could break rules, right? All these grammatical things we've been taught in school about what's proper, what's not. But that's for that one. I did want to go to Gabriela, back to the one from Southeast Tejas, that poem. I just want to say I know her, and I think one of the best things about the Brown Beret history is that women have always been a part of our movement, have always been there doing the integral work. And I never met Gabriela for years. I corresponded when we were working together. I knew Willie Rodriguez, and I worked with him personally. But I can say that if somebody was in charge of something, it was her in Houston. I never met her, but I knew somebody was taking care of business. And when I did meet her, she had her whole family out there when we took over the street. We marched, no permit. We had the families of Uvalde out there joining us, and we provided them with protection. And we just took the streets, but she had her family out in events. And I think that, just for the record, I think it needs to be said that the Brown Berets always had women, but like many, I guess you could say, patriarchies, and that kind of thing going on in the movement, the women never got that respect, and Gabriela is definitely one of those that I respect.
Yeah, I agree. She did do a lot of work over here in Texas. She kind of she kept a lot of things going and alive. But she did play a huge role among other couple of women here. But there was a lot of women in the Brown Berets in Texas, but most of them kind of went. But she was the one who always stayed. She knew that this was her calling, and she stayed there. So that's really good for her.
Like her poem, I appreciate that, she made sure to point out the facets that she finds beautiful in brown women and men. And it speaks volumes.
Really does.
Go back down here. No.
Also, I like how each poem is fairly short and easy to understand. I really like that.
No, I agree. By the way, I got a poem. I only got one poem I've ever really written, and that one is long, but yeah. But
Oh yeah,
you're
we'll get
right.
to that.
Oh yeah, no rush.
Okay,
Yeah, it's coming up soon, brother.
okay, but
If you like the shorter poems, that's true.
I guess I'll take a turn reading. A friendly reminder from Tochitle. You have the power to break any pattern that stands in your way. Don't you know, my friend, that you can make that change? The ancestors will back you up whenever something is in your way. On days that are hard and you can't just get your way, look up Metzli and the ancestors will show you the way. Her rays of reassurance will hug you to stay. Her love so tender and secure will never lead you astray. Look up at her whenever you feel a certain way. With your chin up high, look up to the sky. It's him. It's the sun that's burning so bright, flaming and hot. I hope I can pronounce this right. Huitzilopochtli has a lot of love for you. He fumes on unconditional love. He gave you that hot, spicy, and passionate warrior blood. The strength to ensure is exactly who you are. When life gets a little hard and the big changes come, trust that Quetzalcoatl is stirring the pot. He guides your winds, whether you think it's good for you or not. He will guide your path, and trust that he will give you one that you will love, the one that's meant for you. Protection winds, guiding and turning. The great feather serpent will always keep your spirit flowing. For the times you are being too hard on yourself, take a warm bath and ask for Shochipili. I'm sorry, I'm probably destroying that. To help. The Prince of Flowers will shower you with love. The most important relationship, friend, is the one with yourself. Sit with flowers and practice self-help. Trust in the ancestors because they are a part of you and are always with you. My dearest friend, you are never alone. You are
That was
never alone.
beautiful.
This land is your home. The soil, the dirt, the waters, and the turf. So keep overcoming, my friend. This isn't the end. The birds and the honeybees, this world is your ancestors, and their love for you stretches, bends, and mends. Liliana Valdivinos.
Oh, that was sweet.
That was really beautiful.
That
I
was
really
amazing.
like what she wrote here. How anyone can make change and improve upon themselves, and just like how anything can be learned, anything can be unlearned, and relearning can take place in order to better yourself and improve upon your behavior and what kind of person you are.
And the Nahuatl language,
Yes.
referring to the ancestors, that was very, very important because it's once again reaffirming the ancestors and the inclusion of Nahuatl names, that reclamation of indigenous destiny and affirming it is just, it was just beautiful.
Yeah, that was one of my Brown Beret sisters in California. She wrote a couple of things, but that was according to her most powerful piece. And I would have accepted any of them, whatever she had, because they were all just as powerful as this one.
Yeah.
But she has been part of the movement for a good couple of years. I'm not quite sure if she's still a Brown Beret, but she was a Brown Beret when she was part of the publication a year ago. Who knows how that went, but she did a lot of work while she was there in California. But the poem is very insightful and beautiful itself, but it tells like her roots deep down, where she's from and where she's at now in her life. But it is beautiful because we're going to see a lot of poems and stories who are very unique and different, but we're all part of the same struggle in a way.
Yeah.
Right. Very beautiful. And just with this whole thing, just with this whole book in general, with poetry, it shows that just like how culture can be co-opted and used in a reactionary way, it can also be used in a revolutionary way, and to encourage revolutionary and positive change and behavior. So I really love these poems because they encourage that revolutionary love and that resilience.
Oh, definitely.
Yeah, I want to second that what Gabby just said because I can tell you all as an educator, I find that sometimes when I open up creativity like this in the classroom, you'll see things come out of students that you didn't expect. But especially if they have something to say, and teachers can easily judge a student by their looks, but until you give them something, a creative outlet, sometimes you'll see them really blossom, and sometimes it may be ugly, but it's raw, it's real, and like I said, they don't always follow those correct grammatical rules, but they put something out there that really touches you. So I agree with you, Gavin.
Right on.
Mhm.
And the sad part about it is that in most cases they don't give students regardless of what grade you're in. The majority of the time they never really give them that topic that really fascinates them. They never give them those
That
topics to just
breakthrough.
create. Exactly.
That breakthrough.
They never give them a chance to have that breakthrough. And for me, the reason why I am not really a big fan of poetry isn't because I dislike poetry, but it's because similar to math, I was just forced to read fucking Shakespeare the whole entire time. Just nothing but fucking
Yeah.
Shakespeare. It annoyed the ever living hell out of me, and I was just never really given that chance to really admire and love poetry that I wish I had.
Right.
Because once again, I wasn't taught anything that interested me. I was just reading some shit that this old British guy wrote dozens of years before about him not liking his crush or fucking whatever. I don't know, but like, yeah,
Right.
it's just
They don't give children and youth that opportunity to really, blossom. No, they don't give us any Ibo folklore. They don't give us any Congo mythology or any Mexica Nahuatl stories. They don't do that. They just give, Spaniard and English and French, our oppressor stories, but we don't hear ours. And it's very important that, we have that outlet, those systems where oppressed children and oppressed youth can be able to blossom and appreciate their roots that way, because that's one of the creative outlets that we're most familiar with, letting out that rage in creative ways. And once again, the system obviously does not give us that opportunity, so it's our responsibility to create those systems ourselves.
That's right.
right on, exactly. And when they do teach, when they do teach or even talk about different indigenous cultures, they always whitewash them and give the version that the colonizers give of them being quote unquote savages and quote unquote cannibals and all this white supremacist
But they're
fascist
still
fucking
here.
bullshit.
But they're
Exactly.
still here. That's the thing. They're still here.
Exactly.
Even after all of what the Chicanos have been through, what the Tainos have been through, they're still here.
Mm-hmm.
So they're very lucky. They're very,
And
very
still
lucky
alive.
that they're still here.
Their culture and way of life is still alive, altered, but still alive.
They're still here. No matter how much you assimilate, you don't change your ancestors, but you do keep your indigenous ancestors alive that way. And
Through your
once
roots.
again, they're very lucky that all these people are still here in the millions. They are still here in the millions, even as so-called mestizos, as so-called Latinos, as so-called Hispanics. They did not come from Europe. They did not come from Europe. They came from the Maya people. They came from the Nahua people. They came from the Mexicas. They came from the Tainos. Those people, and they're still very much here. So to affirm it is to really bring those stories to life. We have to bring those stories to life because this is their history, this is their destiny, and this is the affirmation that they are still very much here. And once again, it's our responsibility for the Chicanos, for Chicano children, and for Chicano youth to hear their ancestors' voices through poetry, through music, through Mesoamerican sports, through those things, because that is who they are.
Sorry about that. Yeah, I'm gonna get in
Right
my
on.
car. I like what's being said because I think we do need to, whether we're teachers or not, or educators or not, formally, we are, whether we like it or not, right? So I like what you just said because it's all of our duties to pass it on, to guide these young people and give them a platform if that's what's necessary, right? To express themselves.
Exactly.
And
Mm-hmm.
teach them their actual history. Teach the actual history of indigenous and African societies. Teach them about their different cultures. Because
Yeah.
especially as dialectical, as historical materialists, we shouldn't just focus our analysis on European empires. We should focus them on different societies across the entire world of
Hawaiian
indigenous
societies too.
Hawaiian societies, Hawaiian societies, African societies, Taino societies, and so on, and so on,
and
and
so
so
on and
on.
so forth.
Our historical materialist analysis should branch out to other societies and other materialistic conditions across
Because
the
we're here.
entire globe. Exactly,
We're
we're still
here.
here.
We're here.
Exactly.
And we have those resources, like Ensemble Libre Press, just amazing, 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 amazing people. We have those resources. Now it's just, how do we utilize them? How do we unlock, Chicano children's destiny? How do we unlock African children's destiny? How do we unlock their breakthrough, of who they truly are? And once again, we have some of those people and some of those places that have that key that we need. It's just, how do we use it?
Indeed.
Right on. Cultural revolution.
Would anybody else like to take a turn and read the next poem? Or, well, this
I
one's a
would
letter, actually.
I would like to read if that's okay.
Go for it.
Although my voice is fuck. My voice is a little raspy because I'm sick, so I may not sound the best, but
You're fine. You're
here I
fine.
go. Here I go. A letter from an asylum seeker. I am a volunteer and sponsor through ASSP, Asylum Seekers Sponsorship Project. This is a letter I translated from my asylum seeker who lives with me. Her name has been changed to protect her identity. The letter is shared publicly with her permission. Robert Garcia, ASSP sponsor. That name is kind of funny because it's kind of like it's kind of like as soon as possible. Hello all. My name is. How do you wait? My name is
Leonor.
Leonor Ars Ars Rivera. Rivera, I believe that's how you pronounce his name. I am an asylum seeker and I have been in the United States since March of this year. Sorry, wait, let me just do this so that's easier for me to read. There we go. I am writing this letter not just to share my story, but to let you know that I and other immigrants, we see you. We see you and we appreciate you recognizing that we are here. Just exactly as we were talking about before, that we exist. And we are grateful to you for speaking up for us. I cannot safely be there in person with you, and I have to change my name to write you this letter and pass it through a trusted source to reach you today. I want to be there, but I am not able to risk my asylum case by speaking out. So instead, this is the best I can do, is to share my story in this way with you. I want people to know we are human beings. I traveled many miles to come here just seeking a safe existence. I'm a trans woman, and where I come from, that is a death sentence. I chose to be who I really am, and for that, my life was made hell back home. Where I live, where I live, we are ruled by a gang cartel. When they discovered me as a trans woman, I was visited. That is to say, I was raped. Jesus fuck. And then I was visited again, and then more of them came, and then they showed up three at a time. Why so many times? Because I chose to live. The first time I was forced with a knife at my neck the entire time. Another man pointed a gun at my head for his visit. Sorry, let me just do this. Here we go. These visits continued, and I chose to allow it because I wanted to live. Eventually, I became numb. Something inside me just died. The part of me is gone forever. Something inside me just switched off. One night, my father, God rest his soul, decided to defend me. He promised he would put a stop to their visits. It was a mistake, one that cost him his life. For trying to defend me from a visit one night, he was murdered. After that, I felt utter fear all the time, and I knew they would kill me. I had no choice but to flee. I came here, broken, but hopeful to find a new start and to embrace my choice to live. But when I arrived in the US, your government and your president treated me like a criminal, like a caged animal. I was locked up in an ICE detention camp. And while there, I was in misery. I was devastated. I thought I was escaping into freedom, but I arrived at sorry, my voice. But I arrived at prison as if I was the bad person. The people who work there, the guards, they noticed my birth name right away. So the entire time they misgendered me. I felt like my real identity was being killed. They made such a point to tell me I was a man, to have that over and over. It was emotionally not okay for me. It pushes you into despair. I know who I am, but they were actively trying to kill that identity, me. I really feel this. My first 3 months in the US were spent in ICE custody being mistreated. Often we were chained on both the hands and feet, made to feel like animals. Many times we were purposely denied meals. We would ask for just some water and they would deny it. They want us to feel hunger and thirst. Some guards told us they were not allowed to give us water when it was denied. I witnessed healthy people lose unhealthy weight and shrink in size. Yes, they fed us. Yes, they gave us water, but food and water were withheld as a form of abuse. We were not allowed to speak of it. If we complained or asked, we were punished. The guards constantly threatened physical harm if you tried to question them. At one point in the Texas heat, they turned on the heater to punish us. Often often the food we were given was raw, not fully cooked. When I became sick in detention, I was scared and asked for medical aid to please see a doctor, and the guards denied my medical treatment. Denied me medical treatment. There was no report, no doctor. We were made to feel like we shouldn't exist. In the area where we were all cramped into sleep, they would throw pepper spray into the AC ducts. So the vents were blowing pepper gas into our area. This was unbearable for us. It would burn inside as we breathed it. And then we all coughed and we could not breathe. Out of all the evil guards, there were only three. I remember. There were just three who tried to help us. They knew when we were about to be sprayed, so they would secretly warn us to take rags and wet them and cover our faces with them. That's how we try to survive these sprays. Jesus fucking Christ. I am a strong, tough person because of the hell I have lived. At least that's how I cope, by choosing to be tough and without feeling. But there are rare moments when I think, perhaps tonight when I fall asleep, I no longer wish to wake. Those days are behind me now because the last 4 months have been very different. Thanks to good people like you all standing up, fighting against this evil treatment, I was sponsored by a U.S. citizen. Today, I have freedom. If it wasn't for one of your volunteers stepping up to pull me out of that hell, I would not be free right now. I would still be in ICE detention. So I send this letter to share my story in the hope you will keep fighting, because I am the only person. Because I am only one person, but there are so many of us, and I think of all those I left behind who are still locked up. They need to be free. We are not animals as your president calls us. We are people. We are human beings. Thanks for seeing us. God damn, that was
Damn, so amazing, wasn't that? Powerful.
powerful, and that was just
Heartbreaking, but
that was heartbreaking and just disgusting how they were treated. It's just fucking
Well,
hell.
these
And
are
I felt and I kind of resonate with the story because while I have never been treated like this before, thankfully I am trans and I live in a reactionary household filled with fucking gusanos. So you can imagine how hard it is for me to deal with them and how transphobic they are. So reading this kind of just gave me inspiration. Honestly, it kind of resonated with my situation, with my parents and my environment, you know?
I want to thank you,
Brandon.
Gabby, for reading. Oh, go ahead. Sorry.
Oh, no, go ahead, Rafa.
I was just gonna say I want to thank Gabby for reading that. I know it's a hard read because when I first read it, I was reminded of my student stories because oftentimes they come to me because it's the only safe place, maybe in a whole school district, and like you said, even amongst family. But in the Chicano culture, Mexicano culture, you've got a lot of because of colonization, you've got a lot of that sentiment that that spills over with machismo that is so toxic.
Oh, that's my family
And where
too.
well, when you mentioned, Cubanos and the treatment, I know when I started going to Cuba, I visited them. Cuba had to reckon with their past, and that included some horrible treatment of people. Some of the best revolutionaries that were driven away because of the bigotry, right?
Yeah,
Eventually, Cuba has come to terms, with a lot of things, including the Family Act that they recently passed, and that was a huge step worldwide for Cuba to do
it
that. And
was.
but nonetheless, a lot of young people they still struggle. They still struggle to find that spot, that space, and it's an ongoing battle. So I commend you for reading that the way you did. By the way, I appreciate the cussing because that was good. It had
Of
to be.
course, of course, because we gotta be heard. We gotta be heard, and exactly as you're saying, Comrade Rafa, because just like if I remember correctly, just like how you were saying with Chicano families, how there's that leftover reactionary sentiments due to us living in a misogynistic, patriarchal, and queer phobic society. There is a lot of that of that transphobic, misogynistic sentiment, and it's the same thing for the Cuban diaspora here, especially in Florida, because obviously due to it being Florida and our governor being Ron Bitch DeSantis,
Yeah,
he is a lot of the Cubans here in Florida
are being
are some
brainwashed.
of the yeah, they're being brainwashed. They're essentially being assimilated into thinking that they're quote unquote American, and and uh,
Even though that's
and
not who they
you
are.
often exactly, and you oftentimes tend to find a lot of reactionary transphobic people among among um among the Cuban diaspora. A lot of them, especially being Catholic or Christians. Like for instance, my mother
Yeah,
is a Christian, and she uses her Christianity to demonize and dehumanize trans people. I remember she forced me to go to church one time by force, of course, and she was saying some fucking bullshit like, "Oh, trans people are being tricked by the devil to tell lies to people and to make them betray the image that God made them in, and all this fucking transphobic bullshit." And it just made me angry. It just made me angry because whenever my mother or my parents in general tell me that they love me or that they care about me, I know that's a lie. Because if they knew who I actually was, if they knew what my identity actually was, if they knew that their quote unquote son was actually their daughter, they would disown me. They would make my life a living hell, and they would either kick me out and make me homeless, or they try to force me to go to conversion therapy. So yeah,
yeah,
it's very tough. It's
it's
very
tough.
fucking grueling,
It's
very
tough, and
traumatizing.
it's very traumatizing. And once again, these are concentration camps that we're talking about. These are not
Yep,
detention camps. These are concentration camps. They are death camps on native land.
yep,
Okay,
yep.
native land. Okay, this is a native Chicana trans woman. Okay, so
There's a settler.
it's that double-edged sword that
Yep,
they have to face because they're both native and a trans woman. So it's a lot of interlinking intersections with this. And I can definitely relate to this because my people, once we were enslaved and when we were kidnapped, we were gendered. We did not have gender in our societies, in our history. We did not have gender, but we became gendered. when we were kidnapped based on how exploitable we were. Either we were cum dumps, or we were, just experimenting on for gynecology purposes that literally aided in the genocidal sterilization of my people. And, you know, we were gender fluid no matter what, but because of the influence of chattel enslavement and because of us being colonized the way we were and still are to this day, we have such hatred against queerness, against our own transness, against our own history, especially back in our homeland of Africa, in so-called Nigeria, in Ghana, in Uganda, in Kenya, and other
Burkina
places.
Faso.
Burkina Faso, because of the influence of colonialism, of what they did to not only the Chicano people, but also my people too. And so, once again, because there are African political migrants coming from Mexico and Central America and South America too, and they're facing the same thing. It's devastating to know that you're escaping on your own land, on your own continent, on your homeland for a little bit of peace, only to face the same thing, basically a whole concentration camp, because that's exactly what it is. And once again, it's very, very crucial that we not only be heard, but we have people struggling alongside with us, because once again, these are not two separate groups of people that we're talking about. We're talking about an entire system that have been forced on us through genocide, through sterilization, through all things violent and destructive and deathly. And cis heteronormativity, the binary, all of these things that were forced. They were forced on us, and we did not have these systems until the colonizers came to our respective homelands. And so this is very, very powerful as a reminder to not only hear us at the very least, but to also struggle alongside us, to come back to reality and struggle alongside us. That's why we have comrades instead of allies, because clearly allies are being killed too for being perceived as being trans as well. And we've been telling people about this for years. And they, once again, a lot of people did not want to listen to us. But once again, our worst fears are coming to reality, because we have gender conforming people that are being killed too. So once again, not only listening to us, but struggling alongside with us, because it's a whole bourgeois construct of gender that we're up against. And, once again, these people have nothing to lose. They are literally brainwashing anyone that they can in order to, have fear against transness, against queerness, and especially against trans people who are migrants, on their own land, and so once again, we have to keep that in mind, that, it's not just our struggle, it's everyone else's, because you would be next too.
Right. And
No one is safe.
especially shameful. Like, it is actually downright fucking criminal, crimes against humanity. The shit that ICE and the Border Patrol are doing to people who are coming here trying to escape absolute fucking brutality and bigotry. And this is the way they get treated when they fucking arrive. It's abhorrent.
It is.
Comrade Joe, I see you've got your hand up. Go ahead. I'm curious to hear your thoughts on this.
Yeah, and I like the way you put that, because it's a human rights issue. The right to eat, the right to be able to drink water, the right to fresh air, where they just took, I mean, in the ICE detention center that was mentioned, and I believe she mentioned Texas, and the injustices that they were facing in these places, and I could just imagine what they're still continuing to face. But I wanted to bring an attention today. Our comrade Brown Berets in Texas actually collectively got together and made Las Voces Unidas a human rights coalition. And they went to the knock on the door of Greg Abbott and demanding change, demanding awareness of what's going on. And that was they were there today in Austin, and that was pretty powerful because she was also mentioning in this writing or in this poem, actually thanking someone to have saved her out of that. Somebody, I guess, sponsored her. I'm not sure how the term was, sponsored her and gave her freedom. When she, like she says, she traveled so many miles to get to a better place just to be locked up and mistreated. And it's pretty sad. I don't know if Johnny or Rafa want to add anything to Las Voces Unidas or the event. I don't know. You might have just got out of work, Rafa. I don't know if you got to see the video yet. And that's all.
Yeah, no, I
Howard?
haven't. Yeah, I haven't seen the video yet, but what I can add to it is that these are people, not just Uvalde families who form Brown Berets, but students and others who are going to be doing some surprise visits, I want to call them visits, or surprise attacks on the system in Texas. It's ground zero for the hate against the immigrants coming from all over the world, but especially people of color. And I'm proud of them. I haven't seen everything exactly yet, but I know that we were not supposed to advertise it until. So this is awesome. I'm glad because it's just one of many actions that Las Voces Unidas in Texas will be doing. And like I said, and like Joe says, the Coalition of Human Rights Activists, Brown Berets, but also other people. So we'll be letting people know about this. It's a campaign. We consider Texas ground zero. There's a lot of ground zeros out there, but Greg Abbott, because we know that governor is so bigoted and just so hateful, and his policies are killing so many people, and we have to help people in Texas. But thank you all. I'm going to be here listening in as much as I can. I'll be driving, but thank you, Joe, for commenting on it.
Thank you, Rafa.
You're welcome. Thank you.
Joe, had you popped your hand back up or was that still up? I wasn't sure if you had more to say.
No, it was still up. I just wanted to bring that to attention, how she was very thankful that someone did stand up for her. And I was just very grateful for with some of the movement that this happened earlier today. And of course, we were asked not to share it. But I guess they had shared it after the event because, for safety reasons, they didn't want to promote it out there on social media until after the event. But I was able to share it on Los Brown Berets, Aslan. And Sylvia, Sister Sylvia out of Houston, also shared it, and that's all. We're still here and we're still fighting.
Need to. Hey, we all have to fight against this. This stuff that they're doing at the border literally violates U.S. immigration laws. The immigration laws say you show up to any port of entry, whether it be on the water or on land. You show up, you declare yourself that you are seeking asylum, and you're supposed to be given your paperwork and an appointment with a magistrate and immediately released. So that way you can go secure housing and employment, things like that, and, get yourself settled. And instead, these fucking criminals in ICE are treating people who are legally coming here and seeking legal entry into this country as if they're fucking criminals for doing so, and it's fucked. It's nothing but bigotry. Comrade Gabby, I see you got your hand up. Go ahead.
I also just want to add an important thing because it always pisses me off how some reactionaries try to have a gotcha by saying, "Oh, if the U.S. is so bad, why do so many people immigrate to it?" And I always fucking despise that argument because, once again, the only reason why the majority of people immigrate to the United States is because the U.S. colonizes their country
Of the U.S.
and makes them
itself.
exactly, and they colonize their countries and make their materialistic conditions so bad that they're forced to go to the U.S. That's why.
And they're being treated the exact same way.
That's why they're forced to go. That's why they're forced to. That's why so many people, quote unquote, come to the U.S. Not because they choose to, not because they actually have a choice. It's because their countries are colonized either through colonialism or neocolonialism, and are made so unlivable, so unstable, so run with reactionary fascist puppet governments that they have no choice but to go to the U.S. Thinking that the U.S. will be quote unquote better, when in actuality it's the exact same, because the reactionary fascist government that is being implemented in these countries is a result of U.S. imperialism. That's why.
That, and they've been fucking lied to with this bullshit of American exceptionalism, the lie
That's my
of
parents.
the American dream, and in the words of George
Because there's no
Carlin,
such
they
thing.
call it a fucking American dream because you'd have to be sleeping to fucking believe it.
Yeah, and that's literally the thing. That's literally the thing. Let's list off all the places that this empire has colonized. Bordigan, Cuba, Hawaii, Alaska, the so-called Philippines. What else? Indonesia, so-called Indonesia, and I say so-called Indonesia because it's a puppet state too. The Congo,
so-called South Korea,
Vietnam, Nigeria, Ghana, Mexico, Guatemala, El Salvador, other places. But once again,
Oceania.
there's such thing as a dream, right? There's such thing as a dream, right?
It's
Our
bullshit.
native land, mind you. Our native land,
Exactly.
mind you. I mean, they stole it. Yet they're literally, they make these laws so that they can be able to break them at any time, because I guess they're too black or too brown or too red or too yellow to even be considered human under this empire's grasp. So I guess they're too brown to even be considered human, right?
According to ICE, yeah.
Yeah.
They're one of the worst form of pigs that exist in this fucking country.
They're absolutely disgusting. Like the horror stories that I hear every single fucking day about what ICE does at the border is just downright fucking abhorrent. It's downright fucking Nazi bullshit that they do at the fucking border. It's
Because
downright fucking. It's really downright Nazi bullshit. Like seriously, like when the actual fuck, and that whole American dream bullshit is what happened to my parents, because my parents come from a background where we have a lot of generational trauma due to reactionary and bourgeois thought being ever present in our family line. And so my parents, I hold a lot of resentment for my parents because they essentially took me from my culture, from my people, from my country, for able to experience and connect with my roots and be more whole, and actually be in a country where I'm accepted and loved for who I fucking am. And I hold a lot of resentment against them for that.
They're hiding from themselves.
Exactly. Like, it's just like, seriously, like imagine leaving a country that has universal healthcare. Like, imagine that
based
shit.
on lies.
Yep.
Based on lies. Because once again, I don't even care about how revisionist Cuba's government is, because they put out lies about Cuba all the freaking time regardless. And they don't even know what communism actually is, which literally means community. But I guess they've done some magic on them where they've convinced them otherwise and made them leave their own homeland, their own country for another set of lies, and literally they're running from themselves. That's what they did. Literally. They ran from themselves. And that's what happens to us. Because we run from ourselves because of the lies that we have been told for so many years about our own history, about our own culture, about our own homelands. And we come to this melting pot mecca, if you can even call it that, for a little bit of freedom. At what cost?
It's not to be
The-
found here.
It's
At-
not.
at-
It's a
at
That's the
joke.
what
problem
cost?
with the United
Cambodia?
States and the massive media conglomerates that own everything that are pushing out the state propaganda is it's hitting globally, and people are really like going, oh, shit sounds great there, and it's like, now try coming here, it sucks. It's nothing but propaganda. It's that American exceptionalism fucking lie that they spread to make it seem like everything's peachy fucking keen here. And the reality of it is that most of us who live here are going, are you fucking kidding me? Our government is atrocious, and we're fed the fuck up with that, you know?
It's a
So
prison within a prison.
it's nothing but a fucking psyop that they're trying to convince the rest of the world that America is the fucking greatest. And it's like, it never fucking has been.
No. I mean, look at Cambodia. Look at Laos. Look at those places. Look at what they did to those places. I mean, seriously?
Everything that the US touches turns to shit.
It's like they're rich. They literally have like a witch hand that literally turns everything to dust.
They literally have the Midas touch. That's what they have. They literally have the Midas touch. Y'all know Midas, the story about the king that turns everything he touches into gold.
Yeah.
Yeah, but America ain't turning shit into gold. It's turning it
Yeah.
into zeros and
Shit.
ones in a fucking computer of, here, have some fake digital dollars that will pretend have any real value, and we're gonna go exploit
don't
a
have
bunch of
value.
fucking people to
don't have
pretend
value.
that these digital dollars have value, but there's nothing
Exactly.
backing it.
There's nothing backing it.
There hasn't been for a long fucking time. Comrade Joe, I see you got your hand up. Go ahead, comrade.
Yeah, I just wanted to share. I know that versus the previous books that we read in the past, where they were books that this is more different because it's more of a broken up poetries, and I'm glad that we're able to conversate after each poem to get our little our get our input on it and what we gathered from it and what we understand it as, and then take it into a higher level of conversation. So I just wanted to appreciate that. Thank you.
I like breaking that down in that manner for this because, if we waited till the very end to do the discussion, it would be a lot to try to recall because of all the various things being touched on in each piece.
Oh yeah.
So I like doing that, of taking the break to do discussion in between each one, because each does deserve its own recognition, and doing some breakdown of what's happening there and what inspired these pieces, because these are the things that'll punch you right in the fucking soul to read. This right here is something that every fucking reactionary in this country needs to read to open their fucking eyes, especially that last piece addressing the shit that's happening to people who are immigrating here, because there's so many fucking people who are still buying these bullshit fucking lines they see falling out of Trump's fucking face hole or other fucking bigots on TV,
Biden.
who are pretending as if everybody coming to the border are fucking criminals. And it's like, are you fucking kidding me? The criminals aren't trying to cross legally. The criminals don't
Look
do
at the
that. The
corporations.
people who are actually declaring themselves and going, hey, I'd like to get my paperwork started, are not the fucking criminals. Get the fuck out of here. But they're being fucking treated like they've
Yeah.
committed crime simply for showing up here and saying, hi, I seek political asylum.
Yeah,
Y'all have
I mean,
fucked my home country to the point I can't survive there anymore. So
yeah.
help me, please. Oh,
I mean, look at Kellogg's, look at Walmart, look at those people. Are they not criminals?
yeah.
Is Biden not a criminal? Is
Yeah.
Trump not a criminal? Is Bush not a criminal? Is Obama not a criminal? Is any part of the black petty bourgeoisie in these positions literally still sucking us dry? Are they not criminals?
Every fucking one of them.
But you're talking about a poor person and a homeless person, being afraid of taking your money. Okay. Keep lying to yourself. Keep deluding yourself, because that's not what's going on, and you know that's what's not going on. Especially if you look at Palestine right now. Like, come on, that's enough said. That's plenty enough
Well
said.
said. Fucking truth.
What's happening in Mexico and what happened to the U.S. during colonization is the exact same fucking shit that's happening in Palestine. The exact same fucking thing. Settler
1
colonialism.
million children.
That's what it is.
1 million children. 1 million children. Okay, us. 1 million of us. But they got so much smack about what's quote unquote best for us. As if they were even any innocent when the Nakba happened, when 2021 happened, because clearly there was not enough people even giving a fuck about them either at that time either, right? And you have us children here going through all of these crises made by our oppressor, and they have so much smack for us, and they think that, you know, just not giving the tools of the bourgeoisie guns anymore is fixing the problem. That's why Cabrini Green was ruined, okay? Because Cabrini Green, if you really be honest, it was a concentration camp too. It was a concentration camp too. They were separated from the rest of the freaking neighborhood, which were full of bourgeois European Americans, and they already pushed out the Boricuas in Lincoln Park. So they had all those people come in and literally instigate the classism and the imperialism against those people. And the same thing that they did to Cabrini Green is the same thing that they're doing to Gaza. Okay. That's why our struggles interlink, because mind you, Africa and Palestine are right next to each other. So, come on, that's enough said right there.
It's
like,
interconnected.
And on that note, we should probably move on to the next piece because we're over an hour already. We still got 4 more pages to go, a third of today's reading. So,
Right.
would anybody like to take a turn reading the next poem?
And,
I'm available, unless someone else would like to.
I can
Go
go.
ahead. Oh, either one of you. One of you take this one and one take the next one.
Yeah.
Okay. Go ahead, comrade.
Okay. American History Mex. I'm the son of a carpenter. No one working harder, cuh. My gente incarcerated. The numbers alarming, huh? Treat us like cattle and the wardens are farming, bruh. Keep your eyes open when they speak on disarming ya. Power to the people. Some have died for that statement, indigenous by blood, not by relation. Land of the free, but I'm down on the pavement. Refuse and resist till I see the day when men are treated equal the way that God made them. They say they love God, but they hate his creation. History books call us bandits and hoodlums. Tocota Mexica, the ones the Spaniards came and took from. We're more than landscapers and painters. Refusing to forget in Texas, Rangers would hang us. To those in office, get these public servants off us. Because when we unite, good luck trying to stop us. This is still for the Raza. We hold it down for the Raza. We going hard for the Raza. We moving forward, Raza. I hear the voices of my ancestors calling me, the sounds of hounds and mounted police following. The world changed the day the ships landed, plundered homes, stole gold and our language, took our land, then made laws against us, signed weak treaties that don't defend us, join the army and they don't protect us, take away our voice and turn us into protesters, deny our rights and then try to arrest us. Go back to where you came from. My family been in Texas. Since the invasion, we've been patiently waiting. To take it back now, free them, brown babies from cages. Let's organize and get our people in order. Campa Motlao. We were here before the border since 1915. We can't forget La Matanza. And remember, this is still for La Raza. And
All
Ortega
fucking
one.
power.
Hell yeah.
That was awesome.
That's a fucking powerful
Badass.
piece right there.
That's
Badass.
a masterpiece right there.
That's
Badass.
beautiful. I love
Hell
poems
yeah.
that with rhyme. I love poems that rhyme because it just makes my ADHD brain go wee. But I love.
Oh no, I agree. I was feeling it too, you know.
But yeah, no,
I
I
love
love
it.
I love that. That was so um that was so amazing because yeah, once again, it's all for liberation. They can send however many representatives. That's what he said, right? Representatives, I believe, or one of the lines or one of the stanzas. Because they can send however many quote unquote representatives they want, but unless they're fighting with, for, and to the people, unless they're fighting with the people, they're not representatives of the people. They're representatives of the bourgeois. They represent the interests of the oppressor class. That's what they represent.
And anti-indigenous imperialism. Because
Yep, they're compradors.
once again, this is about native pride, native liberation, native people
Exactly.
that have been forced to become mestizo, that have been forced to become, Spaniard, that are forced to become Italian, and that's not their identities. They are native. Once again, it doesn't matter how much they assimilate. Their ancestors are still here. The Mexica, the Nahuatl, the Mayas, the Mixtecs, those people are still here, regardless of how many laws have been put into place, no matter how much erasure that, they face, especially if you look at the demographics, the official demographics from this empire alone, um, they're still gonna fight and they'll still prevail no matter what. It's a matter of native pride and liberation and native self-determination for not only Chicano elders, but for Chicano children and youth too.
Right on. Beautifully said. It's about the youth. Because once again, the youth are the future. The youth are the ones that are going to lead the revolution. If I remember correctly, I forget the exact quote from Lenin, but to paraphrase what he said something along the lines of if there's anything I can ask or want from the youth, it is this: learn. And I really love that quote from him.
Indeed.
Learn and grow and be better.
Comrade Joe, I see you got your hand up here. Go for it.
Yeah, and then they mentioned in this one the Texas Rangers and how they would lynch our peoples, because my family are from Texas for 8 generations now already. It was 7, now it's already 8 now. So that as far as I can trace back to. But those same star badges that the Texas Rangers use are the same ones that the police or the highway patrols in them use now. And I found that kind of crazy and stuff like that, because those same badges that they even like as Indian tribal police wore those stupid badges too. So it's kind of like he's bringing the history, but we can still see that today, and it's kind of all like behind the badge. So fuck the badge, and that's all.
I agree. Fuck that badge. That badge is nothing but a living example that hails back to the days of slave catchers. That's all it was. That's where the police fucking started at. That's what those badges really fucking represent, is just being the fucking violent strong arm of the fucking system to further oppress already oppressed people, you know? Fuck that badge.
Fuck the
Cameron,
fascist
I'm
pigs.
not sure if you popped your hand up or if it was just still up.
Oh
What's
no,
up?
oh no, it was still up. Sorry, I forgot to put it down. But yeah, fuck the fascist pigs. Fuck those fascist bastards.
Fuck the police. forever.
Is
I see Sean sharing a lot of different things. Would you like to step in, Sean, and say a little something about what you're sharing? I haven't taken the time to look at them yet.
I can't see what you're sharing, Sean. I think their pictures are not loading for me. I have to load them by pressing on them and downloading them.
Yeah, unfortunately, Zoom does not let me like actively post pictures. I have to post them as files, mostly because I'm pretty sure it's trying to load my album, which has well over 30,000 plus images. So good luck with that. All right. Let's see. I started with one that said it's a picture of a Native American, that says, "So you're telling me you believe Hebrews are entitled to the land of Israel because their ancestors once lived there?" Which happens to be some of the argument in the whole Palestine-Israel thing.
Well, them living there was never the problem. Palestinians actually fought against the Nazis during World War II
Sure
and
did.
extended their hand, going, you know, you're being treated in a fucked up manner here. Come home. The
Yeah.
problem was never people moving there. The problem was that the power was concentrated in the hands of those who were moving there.
Right.
Therein lies the problem. That the political power was taken away from the people who have lived there for time immemorial. Immemorable. I can't think. But
Memorial.
Immemorial. Thank you. They took advantage. The United States took advantage of the situation by going and putting all of the political power for the government of Israel into the hands of a very small handful of Zionists whose fascist ideology is akin to that of Nazis, operates in the same fucking manner. Therein lies the fucking problem. Okay, because let's be real here. It's not just Palestinians standing up against the Zionist regime. It's Iraqi, Sephardi, and even some of the Ashkenazi Jews. So, you know, the Zionist fucking government, there has to be a differentiation there because so many people are under this false impression that Zionism is a Jewish thing. No, it's not. It goes against Judaism itself. The things
Exactly.
that the Zionist fucking regime is doing are literally banned under Judaism.
That was the first meme I posted. The second one is a comparative image of both Palestine and the United States as it has been colonized, with a poem next to it, which basically likens what Native Americans have gone through. They understand what Palestinians are going through. Third one I posted, and this quote actually kind of sticks with me just a little bit. "Sometimes I pause and think about how the background hum of my entire life, like the rest of my generation, has been nonstop news images of gray rubble and grieving strangers screaming in languages I don't know, while all the reasonable people explain, 'That's just how it is there.' No, the fuck it ain't." Fourth thing I shared was a TikTok link to some of the imagery that anti-fascists and revolutionary types are using, and it has just come out in the FBI playbook as terrorist activity. So they're basically openly declaring that, you know, like, leftist ideology is terrorist ideology.
I mean, I'm not surprised. They're fascists.
Last time I
Yeah.
checked, we're all being fucking terrorized by capitalists. So, you know.
Last time I was concerned, the Nazis said the Nazis fucking made wait, because Because last time I was aware, the Nazis fucking used anti-Semitic bullshit to say that communism was a quote unquote Jewish scheme, and that communism was a fucking race. I'm like, oh my fucking god, that is the most. I fucking hate that shit. Also, an important thing to point out as well is that when it comes to the Zionist, fascist, white supremacists in the U.S., a large portion of them, of the Zionists aren't even Jewish. They're Christians, and a lot of them, to my knowledge, the vast majority of Zionist Christians, not Palestinian Christians, but Christians from the global north, don't even have any Jewish ancestry. So yeah.
A lot of them have very little Jewish ancestry and are mostly of Germanic ancestry. When it comes to Ashkenazi, which is the largest group that has Zionists within it. But
Shut up.
Even Ashkenazi who are calling out Zionism and going, wait a fucking minute, this is against everything that we believe in.
Exactly. Because once again, not every single Ashkenazi person is for this. There are those who oppose this fascist, settler, colonial, white supremacist bullshit. And in Palestine, there are even those who have committed class suicide and fight alongside the Palestinian people and have betrayed their ethno-fascist white supremacist privilege. So yeah.
Next four images I shared are an objective look at the Supreme Court's decisions on affirmative action through history and through today. Image after that, it is just a meme that says, remember, if I were to go to Israel today, it's called return, even though I was born in Uzbekistan and am now an American Jew. And if a Gaza Palestinian goes to Israel, it's called invade, even though he still has the keys to the house his family is from.
Yep.
Next image I shared is an image of a city that has a superior military technology. It's shown launching bombs on somebody who doesn't. Then it shows some quiet, more bombs. Next panel shows a bomb being thrown in defense of those who were being bombed. Next panel says, that's it. And next panel after that says, no more Mr. Nice Guy, and it doubles/triples. We all kind of know where that is and what that means. Next image after that is, depends on who's dropping it, depends on how we declare those bombs to be. I don't actually recognize the one that says bad bomb, but the UK, agreeable bomb. The US, good bomb. Ukraine, very good bomb. Palestine, what bomb? And below that it says #PantherUp. Yeah, I actually found that on one of the Black Panther Facebook groups. That's it. That's all I shared.
Yeah, well, it's appropriate. There's a lot of parallels there between the colonization and the violence happening there and the colonization and violence happening here. The U.S. might not be dropping bombs onto Resland, but they're proverbially doing so in many other fucking manners, all the way down to lack of fucking resources of not even having, running water or power, etc. It's still acts of genocide of like, okay, we're going to make it as hard as fucking possible for you to survive. Just like how Israel right now is cutting off power and water to the Gaza Strip and the West Bank. So,
Right.
On that note, Comrade Joe, are you ready to read the next section here?
Yeah, I think we have like 3 pages left, if not mistaken. Did Comrade Shanti want to read this one, and then I'll read the last 2 pages to make it even, or if not, I'm ready.
Yeah, you're
Yeah.
correct.
Comrade Shanti, you want to continue with this one?
I wonder if she's.
I think Comrade Shanti wants to do something.
Okay. Well, I guess go ahead, Joe.
Hold on. Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Yeah, we can hear you.
Oh, I don't know what the heck I pushed. Like I'm writing on the page, so.
You're drawing.
Oh.
Yeah, I don't know how do I take that off? Maybe okay, there we go. Okay, thank
I'm
you.
not sure what you pushed.
It looks like you clicked whiteboard.
I didn't even know what the heck I did. Okay, so let me go ahead and says short bio by Dr. Sergey Sarkisov. Hopefully I pronounced it correct. Dr. Sergey Sarkisov is a mathematician by profession and a poet by passion. He was born in Kyiv, Ukraine in 1986 and migrated to the United States at the age of 7. He grew up in Huntsville, Alabama, and currently resides in Houston, Texas. He published his first poem at the age of 12 and continued to write actively ever since. His native language is Russian, although his writings are in English. The cultural transitions, social barriers, emotional challenges, educational focuses, relationship mishaps, spiritual pursuits, and love for music all shape and thematic of his work. I don't know that word, so I'm sorry if I mispronounced it.
You got it right. Thematic. Yep.
Okay. He focuses on a classical lyrical schematic while incorporating other techniques and poetic styles. In addition, he enjoys reciting his poetry to the public. And I believe it shows a picture of him. Johnny, since he's from Houston, did you want to share anything about the
Hey man, I'm gonna be honest with you. I don't even know who that was. My editor may have known him, so so I must have been his friend. But what's interesting is when the book came out and everything, he told me he didn't know who this person is. So I don't know how this person got in the book. I think he wrote a bio and he wrote a short poem. That doesn't look short to me, but I believe that's that's all what he wrote, the bio and that long poem. So it's this submission is mysterious because we don't know who it came from or how it got there. But we'll see how the poem is, and we'll go for it from there.
Okay, well, let me continue then. American Insanity, a tribute to the RHCP. It seems to be, it seems to me, taking my soul to squeeze. Insanity has taken hold of me. I was meant to be free from insanity, but misery, I struggle to be the man I'm meant to be. Closer than far from the fears of pains, scars hold me in these here chains. As Mother Mary said to me, child of God, oh, let it be. I cannot see. I cannot see. Open the mind. Complete access to the key, to my ability. Believe in me. The scar tissue. Wish you would see. I wish you saw sarcasm, Mr. Know-it-all. Bama hot, NYC, winter fridge. Stuck in the moment of confusion. Don't curse, of course. It's a delusion. Scar tissue tarnishes the skin. My porcelain skin, so smooth, so thin. It's my brain, it's where I bleed. Insanity takes hold of me. And Swedish girls have desire to touch my clean porcelain skin. You could, you liar. Called My prose state of fire, Hollywood basement is my home. Calification over Rome. Go on, marry my girl, the fairy tale of the world. Dreams of guitars, dreams of touching red hot stars, hot chili burning in my tongue. These peppers raw. Oh, oh, how freaking wrong. Hardcore to space, soft as my wrinkly face. Oh, by the way, Donnie's legitimately sway. Don't steal my story. Never told one for fun. Silly and sorry, you're not the only one. And now I'm tired, by the way. So I'm going to my separate way. But P.S. to my state, Obama, I hate to drive through Louisiana. I do respect your work of honor. If only it would work, Your Honor. I shout out to Donald Duck, American Daddy. I hear you spit your dirt. With all respect, I also like to flirt. Your speech, you say, is cuddly, coolio, and cute. But haters disobey. The words that you protrude, and now Sloth, Sleepy Joe, takes over for a while. How long will COVID last? While smiles hide beneath the mask. And maybe Daddy Duck will come back and about. But when that is in revolution, if nobody knows what about, I stand in harmony. It's you and me, American insanity. With due respect to the RHCP, Sergei Sarkisov. And that's on that, I believe.
Yeah, not bad for somebody I never met.
Yeah, I was.
It was
pretty-
rhymey, and he had a good thing going. I mean, I don't know who this dude is, but one of these days I'll find out how he got in this book. I don't even know if he knows that the book came out or what. But it was interesting to hear about what he has to say. As far as everybody else in the book that are in there. Like I said, everyone wrote something different. I believe, he kind of wrote a little bit of revolution, a little bit of,
Yes.
his roots, and a little bit about healing in his own way. That's what I felt like the book is, what I wanted it to be about us writing about the revolution and then wrote about healing, because every time we're involved in this revolution, not only if we have boots on the ground or doing work that has to be done with organizing and whatnot, it can tire us out, and it can really take a toll on us mentally and physically. So I felt like after we read certain poems, like he needed to be healed with other poems that are about healing, because that's what we need after we do work like this, because it does take a lot of our time and a lot of our soul and a lot of our mind. But it always goes to good places, but sometimes it's hard to get some of that back. So that's when the poetry of healing is involved. And it definitely plays a role in this book. And it definitely plays a role in the next book as well. So thank you.
Yes, because just as in his ending right there, what is in a revolution? And then as he stands in harmony, and it's you and me in this American insanity. So he's, bringing out that it's almost, to an extent, it's insane. But if a couple of us loose nuts can hang around together, and we might be able to make some change. And that's all.
Yeah, definitely.
It sounds to me like he moved here thinking he was, going to be able to have that American dream, and got his bubble burst too, and is reflecting on that, and yes, trying to heal, but also acknowledging here the revolution is fucking needed. And this I stand in harmony, it's you and me, tells me he relates more to the struggle of the people here fighting back against this fucked system than to any idea of American dream that he or any other immigrant thought they had coming here. So there was
Yeah, they definitely had a place in Johnny's book. Anyone else have anything that they would like to share to that?
Rolling back through here. I don't know. I'm curious, does anybody know what the RHCP is?
I have no idea. I'm just confused.
I do not.
Hmm.
I'm gonna Google it.
What's it called again?
RHCP. Oh, Red Hot Chili Peppers.
Oh,
That's a good one.
That's one in there.
Did y'all
It's
seriously forget that was the
Californication.
Red Hot Chili Peppers?
I don't think no one would have
Are
been
y'all
like
serious?
that.
that if I ever have my own organization, that's what I'm gonna fucking call it. That's what I'm gonna call it. Fucking Red Hot Chili Peppers. What the fuck?
I cannot believe y'all didn't know that was Red Hot Chili Peppers.
It didn't even register to me. I was thinking, like, is he talking about some
Could you not
revolutionary
tell
cause or something?
it was a Red Hot
Nope.
Chili Peppers
Fucking
inspired
Red
song?
Hot Chili Peppers.
Oh my god.
I could have some Red Hot Chili Peppers right now.
They were around in the 80s and 90s. Like that I cannot believe it. Oh my god.
Yeah.
Right.
Oh my god.
I couldn't catch it. I couldn't catch it either and stuff like that. But I guess I really haven't listened to the Red Hot Chili Peppers since the 80s and early 90s. So
oh yeah.
it didn't register.
They were popping back then. They were popping
Peanut
back
butter
then.
jelly
I had
time.
two of their
peanut butter.
CDs. I used to play them often.
Every fucking one of their songs is about California, so that definitely, puts some context here for the shit he's talking about Hollywood and Californication, when like Red Hot Chili Peppers called it Californication, but the idea remains, and he's calling this shit out of like dreaming of touching red hot stars. It's like, to me that kind of speaks to that ideation of the American dream that you can't really touch. If you do, it'll fucking burn you. But that's different. Okay. Fucking tribute to the Red Hot Chili Peppers. Oh fuck.
I've actually never heard of them before until now.
Oh wow. Yeah. I imagine if we played some of their music, you'd recognize it. You probably heard it on Butt
If
Rock
you play
Radio.
their version of Higher Ground. Their version of Higher Ground.
Yeah.
Like the bass is really recognizable. You would know it. If you heard it before, you would know it.
Also, I remember you told me how to pronounce your name before, but I forgot. Savi. Hello.
Hello.
Hi.
How are you doing?
Welcome. How's it going?
Going good. Just relaxing, trying to learn and study with you guys.
Right on. I just didn't see you say anything, so I wanted to make sure how you were doing.
I'm just tired from work. I think that's why I'm more quiet. I'm just like in a lazy mood. Usually I'm in a talk mood when I have more energy.
I'm sick as fuck, so that's why I'm tired. I would have more energy if I wasn't so sick.
I'm still like, I just don't have the same energy after having COVID not too long ago. There's like black, oh wait, didn't mean for you to see my face. There's like black circles under my eyes from having COVID. So, yeah, I look rough being tired.
Yeah, thanks for joining in, sister. Whatchamacallit. I think both Zen and I can feel you in that, like, kind of like a tired, like drain kind of mode. And with Comrade, at first when we got on, like we stood on for like 3 or 4 or 5 minutes and nobody really said anything. So glad that we picked up momentum throughout today's reading.
I usually like joining the conversation too. You know me, Joe. I usually got a lot to say, but I'm just extra tired today.
Understood.
Yeah, it's been one of them days. And hey, it's Friday, so now we get to relax and enjoy the weekend. We have had an excellent week of learning some beautiful things, reading this book and reading Seize the Time in the other reading group. And now we get to take a break tomorrow anyway.
Right on.
That's right.
I gotta work again tomorrow.
Oh no.
But it's like my Friday.
Call in. Tell them you're still under the weather from COVID and possibly, you know, could get somebody else sick. Like, I need to stay home another day.
Say fuck you to your boss and tell them oh my god. Say fuck you to your bourgeois. To your bourgeois boss. Oh yeah.
I mean, managers are hell, so.
Indeed.
I mean,
managers
we all know
can
that.
be annoying.
I mean, we all know that, right?
Yep.
Well,
oh wait, are we done with the book?
Everybody's getting kind of sleepy, but yeah, does anybody else have any more commentary about today's reading? If not, we can wrap this up and go relax, enjoy our Friday night.
Right on. I don't have anything to say because I'm having a brain fart because I'm sick. So I don't have anything to say right now.
Okay. Right on. Well, I guess on that note, we can wrap this up. Oh goodness, there I go yawning. Yeah, it's been a long day.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's contagious.
Y'all need it. Y'all need
now
it.
you made me yawn. Now you made me yawn, Sister Jen.
Sorry, it's
now
just...
my comrade's yawning already. Like,
oh god, and it's early here too. It's only 6:15 here, but I don't fucking care. I'm tired.
Well, comrades. When we do eventually sleep, let's sleep and have dreams about hammers and sickles and stars flowing in the sky.
the big red sun. The big red sun.
The big red sun.
Okay. The real American dream.
Yes.
Yes. The people's dream. The real people's dream. Okay. People's dream.
My American dream isn't in white, red, and blue. It's in red and yellow. Fucking hell.
And my dream is in green, red, and black. Okay.
Right on.
My colors.
All power to the people. Mine's in pink.
Raise your red flags high.
The only red flags I want to see are the ones with the hammer and sickle, okay? The rest of them...
exactly. The rest can fuck off.
Good.
The rest can fuck off.
Good.
Put your hammers and sickles up.
Fucking
all power to the people.
All power to the people and revolutionary love, comrades.
Yes.
All power, y'all.
We'll see y'all
Bye, y'all.
Sunday morning.
All right.
Bye.
Have a good night.
You too, y'all. All power and love.